well. We've got ourselves racing action 150 tonight. No stage break, no fast repairs, but each driver will have four extra sets of tires in pit road to work with as we take a look at our Lucky Duck Motorsports starting grid. If you want to find ways to be connected with a great racing team, head on over to Lucky Duck Motorsports today on all their socials. It's such a great team. They also love being a part of so many great charities on top of that. But the main thing that they love to be a part of is helping you, the iRacers, get rewarded for some great racing if you're part of the team. Head on over and check out Lucky Duck Motorsports on Instagram, on Twitter, and as well all the major ways on iRacing. But top of the board for the fourth time this season, it's the 8 of Brian McCann starting out the chase at a great footing to his outside, the 77 of Douglas Newbig, and he needs a solid day to try to emerge as a driver to be a threat for the championship as he starts deep in the point standings. Third, going to be the 7 of John Forbes Jr., and then we've got some of the favorites. That's Jake Nichols, the rookie sensation with the most wins so far, starting in fourth. The offseason coming into season 12, the favorite was actually Jared Talmadge, as he'll start in fifth. The 24 has on speed. He's as well a part of the chase, starting in sixth place. A good position for the 24. Vincent Sora, tons of confidence. Yeah, I talked to him before this race. He said he had 11 out of 10 confidence in every race that he drives in, but he feels like this chase, watch out for him. In eighth, it's the 31 of Thomas Green. The 9th, it's the 13 of Cedric Hunter. And finishing out,
it's all about who's got that long run speed.
Behind row 5 in the 11th position, we'll start off with Brian Noel on the inside of the 00 car, with Ryan Kelly in the number 3 starting just to his outside. Chuck Sweeting starting back in 13th position, with Gavin Rogers, last season's defending champion, starting out in 14th position. Back in the 8th row will be Larry Yingling and Jan Van Leer starting in 15th. Heaney and Zach Hall roll off 17th and 18th, and rounding out the field, returning for another race this season, Tyler Dinkler in the 19 machine, starting in 19th.
Hey, Tyler also doing that super chat, so we're excited to see how Tyler does appear this evening. You never know what you're going to see from returning drivers. It's up front. Excited to see how we start the chase off. It's kind of the reset button for a lot of drivers. You reset your mentality, you reset. And ultimately, it's going to be a tough evening at a tough track here at New Hampshire, a track that is very flat. The banking, it's progressive, very slightly though, from 2 degrees of banking at the very bottom, and then at the very top, up to 7 degrees of banking on the straight.
I feel like they're going to take off and pass me.
1 mile in distance. But Richard, it honestly is, watch out for the entry of these.
We got to go, all right, go 37 laps.
Yeah, let's get it.
Definitely going to be a major key point for these drivers to keep track of, because at a flat track with high speeds like this, that car can easily break loose, and you're going to have to pay attention to everybody's braking zone to keep out of each other.
We're excited for the start of the chase. 6 races. Who will have the most points to settle it out for Season 12 of the WSSR Cup Series? Is out. Brian McCann, Snooping, roared out into turn number 1. A couple of drivers going to be going with an early slow down, trying to set up the apex of the corner, but it's Douglas Newbig on the outside, muscling his way
shifting
and snuffing out a great start for the apex.
Well, the Grim Reaper about killed me.
First caution is out, and luckily no one involved.
That's exactly what these drivers are going to have to worry about.
He let off on the backstretch
condition coming out
before the caution came out.
The straighter you can get out of the turns, the better you'll have. But the 00 losing the rear end of the tire.
His car was wound up too. It's like he was stuck in third.
I think he was right inside of me.
Caution, and cautions are been an issue.
I'm wondering if he hit the chip.
John Forbes.
I didn't touch him.
That's fun for himself. That was.
As far back as he started to drop off, I think I would have got him in that turn.
For the 00 of Brian Noel, just a little snappy loose off the exit of the corner of turn 2.
Yeah.
Take another look at it. In the past, there is anywhere ranging from 9 cautions a race to 17 cautions a race, just showing how tough this course is. Even for the WSSR, that's notoriously known for a low caution count at almost every race we go to. New Hampshire, one of the rougher ones. The transition from the banking to the straightaway, just unsettles the 00, and luckily doesn't hit the wall, doesn't hit anyone else, and he can just drive on his way, just brushing off that dust a little bit.
Yeah, that was great work by everybody.
They got merch on there now.
They were able to dodge and not get into
Is that a coffee mug?
Gave him enough room to get that car, keep the cars clean. So great work by everybody. Brian Noel keeping it out of the traffic. Also kind of kept it near the bottom, slightly middle of the track, just to make sure everybody had an exact place to go. Kind of made it predictable, but that's exactly what these guys are going to have to worry about. Cold tires and on a flat track, that's exactly what we're going to be kind of expect.
And got to be a little bit nervous now because we had that caution so early and just, coming out of 2, the tires are still going to be slightly cold. It might be even colder than when we started this race. A couple of drivers take an opportunity to hit pit road.
Doug started in first gear also, but
take a look at the weather,
it didn't seem to help him too much.
The weather conditions pretty nice here today. We've got a 70.
Oh, he's going to choose the inside.
Ambient temperature.
All right, man. Line up on the
A 98 Fahrenheit wind. Pretty quick brisk at 9 and now climbing up to 10 miles per hour, heading towards the east, middle of the day. So those temps could rise just slightly before we get to the end of the race, where it should fall off and maybe get a little bit closer to the lower 90s.
Doug is known to self-spin, so
obviously the wind's going to be a factor.
Hopefully it doesn't happen right here.
The track temps a factor. And obviously now with those colder tires, how will this next restart handle for some of those drivers in the back?
Yeah, these drivers are going to have to adjust to the changing conditions of this race and every race, honestly.
Yeah, this wasn't
either gets hotter or gets colder, and the car completely
I just want to see if I can steal like a lamp light or something. If it somehow stays green.
The wind, it also affects how these cars can handle, believe it or not. I mean, it can make the car loose, it can push the car tight, or it can even
everybody's in second.
A little slower down the straightaways. So it's all these things that tie into how these drivers have to manage the race.
Well, just like that, a quick restart upon us as the initial start wasn't as clean as maybe some drivers would hope for. Let's hope that this go around's a little bit better. Pace car into pit road, green flag is out, and race 1F6, the chase is back underway as Douglas Newbigin, a fantastic launch for himself. Brian McCann going to be in second place. Jake Nichols going to be challenged for that second position as well on the inside, as it's a hard battle side by side for second. As drivers further on the back, a much cleaner exit out of 2.
Much cleaner exit, everybody able to get through pretty solid, and exactly what I instantly straight down to the apron. But we got Jake Nichols, a great run. They're going to go 3 wide down the front stretch for the lead as they cross the line. Let's see who gives it up going into turn.
Ain't nobody saving tires right now.
Still 3 wide, but muscling his way through the center is going to be Jake Nichols. He saw his opportunity to throttle his way up, and a fantastic for the 73. He'll keep a nose ahead as Brian McCann still going to be to the outside quarter panel, and already a lot of raceability being shown here, but that middle groove looks to be the strongest as Nichols once again back to the lead where he wants to be here tonight. A great launch for himself as we're 3 wide back for 4th place.
He's going to wear his tires out quick doing that.
Forbes utilizing the apron, but early on showing signs. Maybe that's not the call if you want to stay ahead.
It's definitely not the fastest way around the track at this current moment, as we see, as they are just getting drove around pretty easily. Don't know what that's going to do with their tire wear, though, if that's going to help them or make it worse later in the run. But Douglas Newbigin is still sticking to the gun, and there he goes, gets a little loose out of 4, but he quickly saves it, and he's going to fall back in line behind Vincent Sora. But that was almost a scary moment for Douglas.
As they're attempting to make these moves, but it is so tough to see exactly where the comfort zone is lining up overall, as we're seeing various different attempts. Some are still attempting the apron, while others are staying on that middle. Well, fully, it's tough to see right now. It just looks like Jake Nichols, Brian McCann, Holly Fonseca, they are really moving well right now, making sure they're staying away from the apron.
Yeah, they're doing everything they can to stay away from the apron. Douglas Newbigin, I think he's going to have to make some kind of change to figure out what's going on. Maybe find some speed again, but he's really sticking to his guns on that apron at the moment. So he's trying to challenge Vincent Sora. He has the speed going into the turn, but it's the exit. They've got way more of a
stuck on the bottom. Bad.
So he's got to make that pass in the middle of the turn to make it work.
In trouble already, hitting one of our chase contenders, Thomas. Dropped out of the server. At least he's been blinked out. He has not gone back on the racing surface just yet. We're waiting to see if he officially gets packet loss disconnected from the server. Right now, the 31, 1 lap down. That is a heartbreaking start to the chase for a driver who was expected to be at least a top 5 contender, if not top 10, here tonight as he blinks back in. Oh, that was a nerve-wracking feeling for most of the field because he just popped in out of nowhere after being gone for a full lap.
Yeah, Thomas Green was gone for a complete lap, like off the track, not visible to anybody. And the downside is I'm curious if he realizes he's a lap down.
Yeah, the next-gen cars are probably like that.
Back because this is an iRacing situation here, really on his end because of a network connection. But yeah, he was dropped out technically from the race, not necessarily from the server, but iRacing was not clocking his lap, so he did not clock that one lap that he was gone.
Which, with a lot of the iRacing updates that have been coming out, they have been kind of being a lot more harsher if you're having network issues of just bouncing people out, and you will lose a lap, if not be parked in pit road, if iRacing deems that your internet is not stable enough. So this 31 better be careful, as a hard charging diving move by the 77 of Douglas Newbegin was hoping to find an advantage as he continues to just hope that the apron lane works at some point. But
that slide up he does in the apex is destroying his right front.
It hasn't worked out. I've lost too much space and time. Yeah, just figure out a different lane, try something else. But the 77 is being relentless right now on attempting this run.
I mean, his times haven't really dropped off.
He only does it in 1 and 2.
So he's still, if not even running faster than some of these guys as well. So who knows? Maybe this apron, this apron line he's been running is saving his tires a little more than everybody, giving him a more stable car. But I mean, he's just not able to make.
He's going to watch what I do and adjust.
Sora, but he's trying everything he can, throwing everything but the kitchen sink at him, trying to get around him.
What you just saw there, the pink 31 machine disappeared once again, and that is right in between Vincent Sora and Jared Talmadge. There is a vehicle that could spawn out of.
It's a pretty good run off of 4.
As he's already been gone for a full lap. Thomas Green better hope that he doesn't lose another lap on top of the one that he already lost for being disconnected. As they cross the line, he will officially go another lap down for Thomas Green. This disconnection is hurting the 31 so badly, and it is a lose-lose scenario because if he just leaves, he's making sure he's getting 0. He's going to get last place points. If he stays, there's not a chance that iRacing can fix this issue.
That sucks to lose your internet there.
And there he goes. He is officially dropped due to packet loss. So that's even more detrimental to his run tonight because that's going to kick him back into the pit lane when he decides to connect back into the server. But, I mean, when you're a driver in the chase, when you're fighting for points in a championship, you can't just give up. You got to get back out there. So I'm sure he'll get back in, log with some more laps, and hope that some drivers either call an early wreck that ends their night early. So he's got to get back out there on track. He has no choice.
And 2 drivers next to one another entering tonight in points. 10th place and 11th place in points. 2 dramatically different stories here in the first 16 laps. Ollie Fonseca for tonight, 11th in points. He had 1 top 5, 3 top 10s entering the chase. And right now, running 3rd. This is a fantastic start to his New Hampshire run currently for Ollie Fonseca. But then the other driver is 10th in points currently, Gavin Rogers, running 18th, last runner of all drivers that are on track currently. He's trying to run that similar lane to Douglas Newbegin, but it is just doing the complete opposite compared to Newbegin, who's kind of figured out how to stall out. He's kind of running where he's at currently. Gavin Rogers is just losing time at this moment.
Yeah, Gavin is just not comfortable with his car. He is just not running very strong laps at the time being. Sitting, relatively last place, basically, with the fact that Thomas Green is technically last due to being disconnected. But Thomas Green has reconnected to the server, so we expect to see him back out on track here in the next lap or 2. But Gavin, he is definitely trying to figure out what he can do different to get some speed underneath this car.
And what's going to be hard for this one machine coming into tonight's race, the fact that there is no stage racing, there is no absolute caution that we know will come out this race. If everyone continues to race pointing with their nose straight and on track, we will have a chance to go green for the rest of this run, which would be huge for some of these drivers that maybe need a caution to kind of settle back in, put on a new set of tires, and see what they can find pace-wise. As Zach Hall, Jan Van Leer battling between one another. This is for 14th position. For the 10 machine, there was...
I'm going to try to go half a lane up in 1 and 2 to see if I get a better angle on exit.
As he had some personal issues that kind of popped up. Luckily, he was able to find the time to get into the racing seat, and it's actually running pretty well for a lack of real practice that the 10 has had. here this evening. And Zach Hall runs in 15th and is just trying to survive the evening, which I feel like is kind of the motto for a lot of drivers here tonight when you come to New Hampshire. As up front, top 5, they're getting very racy right now.
Yeah, Douglas Newbegin's finally found some speed with the line he's been running and doing a very good job. Is able to get around Vincent Sora, and he's making the effort to get around the 27 of Jared Talmadge. He is sticking to his guns with this apron line and doing a great job as he finally clears the 27. Now his eyes are set on the number 7 machine, his teammate of John Forbes Jr.
Lap 20, right rear starts going.
In a little bit of anger, you could say, just slamming down the fastest lap of the day. Sadly, 6 laps down is the 31. Once again, he got reconnected back in, but internet issues forced him to be 2 laps down, then ultimately kicked him out of the server. We'll see if the 31 can get any of these laps back. If we get a lot of cautions, though, that kind of balloon on in this race, or even in the middle of this race, we could get a couple of those laps back, but he's got to hope for a lot of cautions to come out and hope that when drivers get involved with wrecks, they either don't go a lap down or they're completely terminal to get his lap back. As we continue to race on, top 2 in their own zip code currently, Jake Nichols, Brian McCann. They continue to motor their way forward, but Douglas Newbegin, this lane and line that he is running is putting him in a very good spot pace-wise, as he is currently the fastest driver on track.
Yeah, fastest driver on track. Douglas Newbegin doing a fantastic job. He has made 3 passes over the past couple of laps, and he is still moving forward. Now he's looking at Ollie Fonseca's rear bumper and trying to make the move on him. This apron line has really benefited the 77 machine in these early laps of this race.
Yeah, man, making us, well, at least making myself eat my own words on the, was this lane and line going to work? Because
I just had an update pop up in front of my screen there, and I couldn't see anything going into that
in the last 15
entire turn.
What a charge by the 77 is Ollie Fonseca trying to defend for his position.
I had to reach down and grab my mouse and move it.
Sticks to the corner, which that was a factor to watch out for.
I was driving purely off the left and right monitor.
As this run progresses, the fuel number we were given was around 65 laps they can go on fuel, which is going to turn this race into a 2-stop. Who's feeling the comfortability of trying to push their tires even further than they are right now.
That really made a gap between us there, didn't it?
See if this race could turn into a fuel mileage race. I don't foresee that happening, because I mean 10 laps is a lot of laps to try and save the ball. But I mean, actually, it'd be 20 laps if you go 65 and 65. So it'll more than likely be a 2-stop race.
Doug is really mowing us down, though.
You know, you never know. You might have one driver try to make it last all the way for one. But I think the biggest question really is going to be tires and how long those can stay happy with.
He is really catching us fast
for the longest amount of time.
And you gotta love close racing action between drivers.
He's down on that white line.
Another 4 years. It is
maybe he's running the right line and I ain't.
Well as John Ford's Vincent Sora at 15 and 27. They were putting on a show right there, going back and forth. Here's another show just outside of the top 10. As we got Larry Yingling, Cedric Hunter, as well.
Not sure there.
Well, the driver brought out our first caution of the day, the 00, trying to rebound his way forward, as he's got the sights category 5 in front of him. Behind him is Zach Hall, now working the outside groove.
Yeah, it's a great battle between these guys. Brian Noel able to kind of recover after that incident, able to get around a few of the drivers.
Doug's got a good chance here of winning.
Getting around Zach Hall,
he knows something.
To kind of stalled when he was trying to get around Cedric Hunter, it seemed.
I got to get behind him and follow him a little bit.
We've been seeing, you know, up front, but still not giving up. But Cedric Hunter and Zach Hall, they're doing their best to move forward as well, trying to get as many points as they can possibly.
Their best as every driver putting out some pretty good lap times currently, as watching the battle on screen. This is Zach Hall, the 13 teammates from category 5 esports.
What did you say, 51?
This position will be given away, or will they find it? There it is. Cedric Hunter backing off, giving the space.
We got 4 tires over the wall.
Trying to challenge to get by Larry.
And I'm not sure how many laps on fuel.
To the 67. There was a little bit of confidence of, hey, I've won here before, but there wasn't confidence in the pace as he was seen during practice. So we'll see how, maybe if this race does turn into a fuel mileage run.
Man, Doug has it figured out.
Has a little bit of magic that it can
How do you do that?
So far here tonight, which As we were watching the battling here just outside of the top 10, the battle for second is done and dusted. Douglas Newbegin has now moved up into second position.
Damn.
He's a second and a half back, but I'm looking at the lap times. We'll have to wait on this go around for the 77 because the last lap Nichols was faster by about 2/10. That was wild. Newbegin was battling for position. See on this go around who was the faster driver, and it's Douglas Newbegin by 1/10.
I don't know how he does that. I'm afraid to hit that. I don't know how it's gonna upset the car.
Speed, it's always staying out.
I guess now's the time to learn, though.
Been hoping for him, and so far we're still early, but Douglas is really showing what he is capable of doing, and this is just one of those tracks that seems to kind of play into his skill set a lot. You know, like I mentioned at the beginning of the race, like using the apron, we've seen him use it at a lot of different tracks, and this is a track that it extremely helps. It's extremely beneficial to the driver, as he was 2/10 faster than Jake Nichols that lap as well, so he is chasing
because it lets you
the giant
open the steering wheel up.
Nichols, who is currently in the lead, just over 1 second ahead of Douglas Newbegin.
But we got to fall back to the battling happening for fourth.
I didn't do any of this in practice.
Fonseca, who was solidified in third after being passed by Douglas Newbegin, is now floundering on speed and grip. The 24 under heavy pressure by a big pack of drivers. You got Vincent Sora, John Forbes, Jared Talmadge, and as well the 17 of Chris Ditz now emerging into this grouping. And this is going to be one of those packs where we've already seen three of the five going back and forth of Sora, Forbes, and Talmadge. Now does the additive factors of Ali Fonseca, let's maybe throw a wrench into things with everyone throwing the haymakers back and forth. 33 laps into this race, and the 24 is just trying to run a defensive line a little bit higher than the middle group, which is giving him the better exit currently. Sora, that's the exact lane that he's been running for most of this run. And now having to change things up, but Jared Talmadge squeezing to the inside. He'll really make that pass. And Richard, this is that close racing action that you're always worried about, especially when you're racing around your teammates as close as the 27 and 7R.
Yeah, when you're racing around your teammates, you got to drive really even more careful than if you were driving around the other competitors, because it's never a good.
And I make it on a tank, make it 50 on a tank.
Working together with a little loose again for Jared Talmadge. These guys are racing door to door, extremely close, inches apart from each other down these straightaways. And it's just impressive to see these guys keep off each other and keep the cars from wrecking. But Jared Talmadge is doing everything he can to try to get around Sora, and Sora has got to have some frustration towards Ollie as he wants to get around him and get moving.
I mean, these head-on shots are incredible into the corner because you're just seeing the wheelmanship. You're seeing the hands. They are so twitchy off the exit of the corner, just trying to counter steer. Hope that you don't slide and get too loose. You're also trying not to run into your competitors, and this is some great A at racing action going on. Jared Talmadge hoping for the 2-for-1 special if he can get it done, but Vincent Sora keeping it close. Ali Fonseca with the better run on the outside, though.
Great run from Ali Fonseca, staying.
Is that factoring in the caution we had for?
Is finally just past the nose.
4 laps.
Sora not completely clear as he moves up. Is there 3 wide? They've got to be careful, keeping the cars off each other. But who's going to have the better exit? Ali Fonseca, Vincent Sora, drag race down the front stretch. Jared Talmadge's got to fall in behind those two and try the attack again as Ollie moves up the track, allowing the pass to be done almost by Vincent Sora.
I mean, 1 and 2, it seems like they're really able to utilize every way that they want almost.
For some reason, I was thinking we only got 40 laps of tank, but
down in turn.
Yeah, we're 36 plus 25, so
it just seems like
must have been wrong on that number.
Into one another through the apex of the corner, but Sora drifting his way out the exit of the corner, and they're still drag racing down the straightaway. It just continues to put on.
I've killed my tire doing all this.
For the battle for 4th, 5th, 6th. As watching
down there, Ryan, I just can't find it.
Chris Ditz, and now add Ryan Kelly.
Yeah, it looks like
drivers enjoying the show.
Somebody holding these guys up.
But now,
yeah, Ali is running the top.
These drivers are just
drifting
around the corners. You got a sense there's going to be a breaking.
I was trying to run the bottom to see if I could follow in my own chariot, but I just can't figure it out.
Or you find yourself wrecking each other and maybe a few more. Because you got to make the choice now. Do you wreck here in the first 40 laps of this race, or do you survive to fight another day?
Oh,
It's very close between these two. They keep getting into each other's doors. Vincensora is trying to close that door on him, but he just can't get the run. Ollie on the outside there has a better run off the turns. Even though Vincensora is able to get in front of him through the turn, he just can't get up in time to block it off. And Ollie Fonseca gets the run. But these two doing a great job. They're getting a little argy-bargy with each other, but they're keeping the car straight. I think this is where Vincensora can potentially get it done. He had a great run going into turn one.
Problem is, every single time Sora feels like he's almost clear, Jared Talmadge throws a nose in there and spooks him just a little bit. Finally, the best distance that Vincent Sora's had so far. They're going to be almost dead equal down into turn number 3, utilizing a little bit of bumper and side-by-side rubbing through the corner. Vincent Sora's hoping for a good run, but you got to hope that Ollie Fonseca doesn't counter-steer into you, and they'll still drag a race forward. 41 laps in. And we're getting probably one of the best shows you could ask for right now. That's some
if you're running by yourself, one lane would be the best.
Are rising. This has been a fantastic show. I'm going to let you keep commentating about this, Richard.
Center, second lane, slide the third.
Brian Noel
come back down. Apex.
I got to figure out why.
That's what I think.
I think second.
These three drivers still putting on a fantastic show for the racing. Again, door to door between Ollie and Vincent Sora. These two just not giving up. Ollie is not giving up this position, but Vincent Sora knows he has to get around the 24 machine so he can start moving his way forward to catch third, fourth, or third, second, and first. But Ollie is just not letting them get around him. He's doing a fantastic job running a great defensive line. It's not the fastest, but it's just the drivers cannot get the run like Ollie has down the straightaway, and Ollie's able to defend it, just keeping Vincent Sora at bay. Jarrett Talmadge looking for the opportunity to try to get around him, and just there's no window that's opening for him.
There really isn't. They just continue to fight from haymaker after haymaker, and it is just working out for Ollie Fonseca to keep the battling position. This is the most frustrating thing for Vincent Sora.
Doug ain't past the leader yet.
By and try to run down Brian McCann potentially, because he at the rate when they caught up to Ollie, it looked like the 15, the 27, and the 7 were gonna just motor their way into third, fourth, and fifth easily. But Ollie has been an absolute blocker, just holding position and defending perfectly. Also got a little bit of a report on the 00 of Brian Noel. He found himself getting loose off the exit of turn 4 6 laps ago. Overcorrected, got into the outside wall, nosed it into the inside wall, and ultimately too much damage to continue. He pulled into pit road and has called it an evening, leaving us with 18 drivers out on track.
I don't think Vincent's catching
on
me.
The lead lap, and Vincent Sora finally can breathe. He's free from getting by Ollie Fonseca.
Oh, that has got to be a breath of fresh air, literally and figuratively, as he's got nobody in front of him getting clean air, but he is finally around the 24 machine, but I think right now he's got to take it a little
Doug and
too easy, because the 27 is still breathing down his
Jake is going to lap the field, aren't they?
He used up a lot of those tires, and he has got to try and get those cooled down, but
there goes the pass.
Lead. Douglas Newbigging has chased down Jake Nichols, is less than a tenth of a second from him. He's going to make a challenge into turn 1.
First challenge for the lead here tonight on Jake Nichols, and it's Douglas Newbigging. So I was almost concerned about how
whatever Douglas is doing is impressive.
10 laps, he gave up so much time. Went from being in second place to faltering all the way back to 8th, and now here on lap 46, he fights his way and easily takes the lead over Jake Nichols. Douglas Newbigging, the 77, leading here from New Hampshire, and what a charge from the 77, because the pit stop.
I mean, we ain't even literally in the same
20 more
ballpark.
laps. And if he can continue at this pace, I mean, he will be gone by over probably 2 to 3 seconds before pit stops happen.
See if he can keep up the pace, and of course, we don't know
something got switched on.
Anything for this, this certain situation. He's always up front and running his race, but it's sometimes it's at the detriment of his tires. Sometimes he's actually just saving just that much faster. But right now, Douglas Newbigging still putting a little bit faster laps than Jake Nichols. He is showing that this is his track and his.
Curious to see. Yeah, they're still below the line, aren't they?
Putting on a clinic on how to use that apron in these cars at this track.
Again, they always worry. Douglas Newbigging, you prove that you're quick. Please don't throw this race away after showing all of your cards. as the 77 continues to try to lead here tonight over Jake Nichols. And what a swing this could be for the 77. Enter tonight 15th in points, only one top 5, 4 top 10s this season, and a win would change his chase run completely from just hope for a top 5, maybe a top 10 battle, to hey, watch out, that could be a threat here tonight as Jake Nichols continues to watch the 77 and all his moves. Update on the battling that was happening from 4th on back, where Ollie Fonseca was going to be in the safety valve. Well, ever since Vincent Sora got by him, the 24 has been passed quite efficiently as he is 9th, as Chris Stitz in the 17 is trying to find an opening to get by. But Richard, in a blink of an eye, it goes from utter chaos of will we see a wreck here just everyone's pretty spread out and in line with one another.
I'm sliding real bad.
In line with each other, but I was just about to talk about this guy on our screen, Gavin Rogers. He was playing the long game. He is now up into the top 10, and he is one of the faster cars on the track as well, running into 31.6s, 31.5s. Gavin Rogers has found something in this late run. We'll see if this can hopefully build for himself for the later parts of this run as well.
Getting ran down by Jared.
Finally finding his stride.
Hey, 15 laps to go in this run. You're running about a 10th or 2 faster than your competition ahead. You might find yourself near that top 10 as Zach Hall and Gavin Rogers. Currently, this is 10th and 11th as the one tries to motor his way forward and try to run down Chris Stitz, who is currently occupied with Ollie Fonseca, which that is also going to help Gavin Rogers.
Yeah, do I pit here?
You got a driver that's kind of blocking and defending and using their tires to do all this motion. It gives you a chance to close in and utilize your tires.
Not this one. I'm going to go one more, check my stuff.
Burned off all of their stuff. As Vincent Sora, this has got to be frustrating to know. You were leading this group.
I don't know.
Yeah,
because I had to click off my screen.
But immediately you get passed by Jared Tolmich, and now you've got Ryan Kelly right behind you. This 3 has been looking very quick.
Yeah, it's all still checked.
One of the fastest, if not inside of the top 3 fastest drivers for the past 10 laps, and now the 3 looking for a chance to climb to the top 5.
Yeah, Ryan Kelly, we have known him, though, for being a long-run driver. The longer the race goes on tires, the better he usually is. He's very great at tire saving, so it's really showing how well he could do it by passing John Forbes. Now he's up by Vincent Sora trying to challenge him. And I will say, Vincent Sora, though, he did have to use a lot of his tire resource when he was fighting Ollie Fonseca. I mean, they were side by side for a lot of laps as John Forbes hits the pits.
Ollie Fonseca going to be following in suit as well. Drivers ahead of them that went into pit road. Jan Van Leer pitted a lap prior, as well as Chuck Sweeting. So some drivers noting, hey, if we're going to be having to pit at least 2 times here tonight, why not do it a little bit after lap 15, maybe a little bit after lap 100, and try to maximize our tires as pit stops quickly in and out, hoping for a good run. And Brian McCann, love this call. Same for everyone else, because we've seen those that go with the undercut pit stop, they get the shorter pit stop overall, and they really get a good run and take over a lot of track time later in this driver to hit pit road.
It's drivers. I mean, there's no reason to run out there on old tires if you don't have to, especially if you know you're going to have to pit again after, for a second time. Might as well come in, save the tire wear a little bit, and that's what a lot of these drivers might be thinking, especially with the fuel. But I mean, Douglas Newbigging and Jake Nichols, they are staying out there. The top 5, top 6 really, still not yet to come down pit road. It does look like Ryan Kelly has hit pit road right now, though. So
I got to figure out what they're doing.
Some of the drivers that haven't hit pit road yet, we'll have to see when they decide they want to come in.
Yeah, and Ryan Kelly, a very aggressive pit stop. He actually drifted his way into pit entry. Luckily, no black flag was given to the 3 machine as he heads into his box to get service done. Top 2 yet to show any signs, though, of heading to pit road. As Jared Tolmich, Chris Stitz, Gavin Rogers going to be your top 5 currently, as Rogers trying to find a way to get by the 17. And this is that awkward spot of if you're faster on the long run, but you're undercut pit stop, are you willing to give up all this time, even though it feels
I need to ride behind somebody?
My tires at this current moment.
I'm losing time.
It's really
turning practice laps
because of how slow he started the race. It's a really tough decision for him. Really, I mean, all the other drivers, still a tough decision for them because they're going to bleed a lot of green flag time right now with these guys that are on fresh tires that are able to run faster. But I mean, at the end of the day,
tires were 72.65.
5-6 extra laps than they are on the tires. So, I mean, in the long run, it helps. It's just a matter of, you know, working your way through the field again. If you can do it, you know, efficiently, to save the tires a little bit more for longer.
See Chris definitely wibble wobble as he exits out of turn 2, but Gavin Rogers, that apron run, very similar to Douglas Newbigin, is just working out for the one where it just feels like he really accelerates well right when he hits the apron. That's when he throttles up. And the one trying to poise a threat on the 17 as most of the field has already made their pit stops. Douglas Newbigin now into pit road for the 77, but he overshoots. He has to back up, and that's way too much time that you just cannot afford to throw away here on this long green flag run we've had so far, as Jake Nichols continues to stay out for another lap, which honestly, with Douglas Newbigin sliding through his box, it allows the 73 to go an extra lap or two.
That is a 2-second difference from not missing your box to having to back up. 2 seconds that Douglas Newbigin had to bleed backing up into his box. So, I mean, that's what we usually talk about. It's not on the track. It wasn't a track issue. He's got no damage. He can easily make those 2 seconds up, but he's got to do better at not making another mistake as Jake Nichols now hits pit road.
Very aggressive pit entry for the 73, maximizing his entry. And for Nichols, this has been kind of crazy to say. His weakest part of his race has been pit road. That's where he's really lost a lot of time compared to his competition. And we'll see if these pit times when he came into pit road was going to be good. As look at this chaos on screen.
Feels like when I do it, it's slower.
Rogers, Chris Ditz, old tires, trying to watch out as the new tires are trying to find a way to get by these two that are fighting for position. Second and third, they've got a wall of drivers with fresh rubber trying to stick their way through, and they'll go 4 wide trying to make the pass at Zach Hall, Sweeting, and many more.
Maybe I can get behind Doug here when he passes me.
Rogers says, you know what, let's just head to pit road.
For Rogers, the downside is it made a little bit of chaos behind him because everyone's using that apron for driving.
And then pitting in.
And he could have caused it, or not him causing the issue, but could have been an incident. But all the drivers, 3 heads up driving by them all. But Gavin pitting in, getting away from the chaos. We'll have to see where he comes out, though, with how late he decided to come into the pits.
When this pit cycle kind of started through, Rogers was around that 10th place position to see if there's any net gains or great losses. Chris Ditz, who the one was challenging with, now heads into pit road, as well as Jared Talmadge gonna set his way into pit road. Finish out our pit stops here tonight. So it looks like for Tyler Dangler, he continues to stay in pit road. He's been in there for over 6 minutes, so I think
he's braking a whole lot better than I am.
Track to come to a conclusion, but it's good to see that
that's worth a lot of time.
On course, as Ben Keeney goes 1 lap down. Even if
he doing that?
Came out, Thomas Green would not get that lucky dog spot unless Ben was involved with the incident. For the 31, who again, his internet issue at the start of the race really put him in a hole starting here tonight. But we look at our competition up ahead with the staying out call. Take that back. Still staying out is Larry Yingling, and that's why he's our current leader at this time. But Douglas Newbigin, him pitting, even with sliding through his box, because it was a 5-lap difference, he is ahead of Jake Nichols as well as Brian McCann. Who McCann, with his pit stop, has done a fabulous job to stay ahead of the 73.
I'm gonna lie, I'm actually really impressed with Douglas Newbigin with that 2-second difference of his pit stop mishap that he had. Was still able to get out in front of Jake Nichols as far ahead as he did. So he has done a great job managing the pit stop, managing the speed coming back out and getting through traffic. So, but Jake Nichols has got him back in his sights and is getting pretty close. So Douglas Newbigin, the fight's not over yet.
The leader is
and now we get to see what a 2-tire two-lap difference on tires is going to look for the 77 and 73. Is Nichols going to
no, I just don't get it.
Hard charging? What, we got to get this lead position back, or is he willing to sit and wait, maybe pace himself?
Going up on brake pads help my braking.
What can he gain or lose? Is after one pit stop, really a lot of lessons can be learned. You need to be more aggressive. Did you run the perfect times you were looking for, that you were calculating with your tire wear? And do you need to change up your line that you were running? Because we're seeing a lot more drivers willing to attempt. You didn't practice that line during practice or the warm-ups.
That felt pretty good.
That is a completely different type of racing that you're doing going all the way down to the apron where there's practically no banking compared to the racing surface where you've only got 2 to 7 degrees.
Sliding apex though.
1 second. You're back in third.
Yes. I mean, it's really difficult to work with very flat tracks a lot of the times, but utilizing that apron, it's really helping these cars turn. That's the benefit of using the apron, because the apron's flat versus even the little bit of banking that these turns have. It helps rotate that car, and they're able to save, believe it or not, save some tires by doing so, because they're not having to put as much gas into it to get the car to rotate. They don't have to turn the steering wheel as much to get the car to rotate as well and get it to turn. So they're kind of saving some of that tire resource by utilizing this apron, and we're seeing a lot of the drivers, they're starting to migrate down to that apron line.
And it also could be a defensive move of trying to just stop your competition that's moving forward down there. Force them to try a different lane if you have to. As watching Cedric Hunter, Zach Hall, Jan Van Leer, all challenging for 9th, 10th, 11th currently on screen. We also want to say thank you to our title sponsor for the WSSR Cup Series for Season 12, Elwood Design. It's been around since 2012, helping the iRacing community
a hell of a run.
find their way to show off their specialized race car scheme,
just about right.
Racing, and you can go find their creative starting builds. You can go to Facebook and check out Elwood Designs, on X at Elwood Designs, and as well you can check them out at
all right, Derek, take it easy.
Go /designers/Elwood Elwood to check out all of the Elwood designs on Simrat Market. Simrat Market, a great place to find your baseline schemes if you want to make some of your schemes yourself.
Damn, they just get on the throttle hard right there.
GTR Simulators, your one-stop shop if you're looking to get your own racing rig at home, from packed portable rigs that you can fold.
And then he's on the throttle.
The room's too small to keep.
But he's rotating the car a lot earlier than I am.
Wide range of products from their compact V2 and many more from GTRsimulators.com.
He's going in.
Purchasing, remember to use the promo code WSSR at checkout for purchases of $100 or more from GTRsimulators.com.
That's a little bit better.
Your chance to upgrade your rig and race like the pros. Well, we talked about what are going to be some of those pit stops. Are they hurting drivers? Are they helping drivers? And the main one we were curious about was Gavin Rogers. Where was he going to be placed? Well, he's just outside of that zone right before pit stops really started for the one machine. And he's right back to the competition he was racing with, but in a much better position than when he started this race off. I mean, 9 laps run and you're just outside of the top 10. This is especially the way he started this race off.
Yeah, starting, as far back as he did and as slow as he was going, trying to maintain the tires, coming out of the pits 2 spots back from where you came in at originally is fantastic work. A great pit stop for Gavin Rogers. He's maintaining and utilizing his tires really well, keeping his pace under control. And it's exactly what you got to do sometimes. You got to get yourself calm, get your pace under control to your comfort and for the best possible way to move forward. And Gavin is really showcasing his ability to adapt again, finally, after the start of this chase.
He certainly is starting to find something now, moving up into 10th place after getting by Cedric Hunter. And one of the drivers, though, that gave up so much.
Okay.
How much will he get back?
Probably too late now to do anything with it.
I'm curious about 8th place runner in the 27 of Jarrett Talmadge. I mean, he was battling up there with Vincent Sora. He was up there.
But I think I get it now.
To challenge Brian McCann. Also up there with John Forbes. Currently, with one of the last drivers to hit pit road, has given up over about 5 to 6 seconds of time. He's not racing really anyone, and I'm looking at the lap times. I mean,
they're basically just sacrificing the right front to save the right rear.
I'm shocked by how much time Talmadge has lost, but he's got to figure out a way to gain all this time back with pitting so late.
Yeah, it is wild to see how far Jared Talmadge has fallen back from where he was running, but I mean, he's got to figure something out unless, everyone else has figured something out quicker than him or found out what they needed to change, and they've adapted. But Jared has got to adapt somehow. As we're right in line with Ali Fonseca, he's back in front of Jared Talmadge also, trying to make his way back forward, just running quite a bit slower still than the guys in front of him. But Ollie did put a very, very good fight between him and Vincent Sora early in the race. So, I mean, Ollie's got some defensive moves with him. He's just got to try and make it work for the rest of this race.
Yeah, and Ollie was one of the first drivers to hit pit road, so he's feeling the hurt on the wear and tear, being laps on the pins. 7th place, not a bad day for the 24 machine. But if we move ahead to Vincent Sora Kelly, they're starting to build up another grouping of drivers. You could say the battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th is closing up between the 18 Forrest, Ryan Kelly, Vincent Sora. This is a group of drivers where currently they look spaced out, but looking at the lap times, they're slowly closing in on each other. And we're about to see another group battle, but the question is, will we see John Forbes challenge to hold off the 8, or will we see Ryan Kelly get a free pass to get through? Or is everyone going to be quite inclined to hold on to what they have so far, as we are officially into the second half of this race?
Yeah, you can definitely tell, different drivers' thought mindsets whenever a driver catches them for a pass.
7-3 got him back.
Challenge them. And not keep them from passing, then they're
beat them at his own game.
They're ready to race. It's about that time in their tire cycle. But if they generally let a driver just kind of go on by and not worry about trying to defend that position, they feel a little bit better pace later in the run. So they're like, all right, go ahead and take this spot now, but don't worry, I'll catch you in about 10 to 15 laps, and I'll challenge you again because I know I've got a better pace later in this tire cycle.
Trying to find a little bit of
Hello, Ron.
more as you look at the difference.
Howdy.
Less than 4 tenths between the 4th and 5th place runners.
I just figured out the bottom line like 10 laps ago.
Kelly entering tonight.
I'm not sure what I'm doing.
He's in one of those
My wheels vibrating like crazy.
He's going to bring the same speed.
Just trying to go slow and steady.
The machine in the past, where he was dominant, finding his way into.
You're faster than me. I'll let you go when you get to me.
So far this season.
All right,
Got
yeah, I
3
might
top
take a
5,
couple
7
laps.
top 10s officially for Kelly entering tonight. And this 3 has always been a threat here in the WSSR Cup Series, even since his rookie season. And here for season 12, could this be the time that things change up as he has entered this season? 9th in points into the chase. And that is a doable position, as you're only 8 points away from Jake Nichols. The problem is you got to find a way to gain points on Nichols, who currently leads this race.
Yeah, whenever Jake Nichols is constantly winning like he has, majority of the season, it just builds up that point lead more and more. So
right rear is not happy.
To get up there, you've got to find the pace to be able to challenge Jake Nichols like Douglas Newbegin has been doing. By the way, Jake Nichols back to the lead. Newbegin is now losing time on him by a second. They are only 20 and 22 laps into the stint. We did see Douglas start making better pace at about 35 laps. So we still got a little bit before we potentially can see Douglas Newbegin start moving his way back forward again. But Jake Nichols back to the lead, where we have seen him majority of this season.
So see the 73 leading this race, has been leading majority of this season when it comes to points. He had over 44 points heading into last week's race at Talladega. He captured the regular season championship and ultimately was the driver that we knew. Even when we saw his name be listed as a rookie for this season, Jake Nichols was the driver that everyone had to beat. In every series he runs, a pro driver in the old Peak Infree series, every league that he joins, Jake Nichols is the top driver. And it is always a question of who could try to contend to beat him. And as you can see, Lucky Duck Motorsports, they were hoping to add a few new names this season with John Forbes added to the mix. Also having Thomas Green and Jared Talmadge trying to change things up. But it's the ones that have been here that have been doing things for Lucky Ducks of Nichols and Newbegin that lead the way so far. 1-2, Forbes being the third. Lucky Duck number.
Damn, it just wants to snap loose sometimes.
Music of Ryan Kelly and Ryan McCann, 4th, 5th. That they can run down those leaders, but it looks to be more of a challenge between each other for that battle for 3rd place. As you can see here, middle of the pack, here's some battling going on of Cedric Hunter trying to find a way to get by the 10 of Jan Van Leer, who the driver who entered in 16th in points. He is currently, I got to give credit to Jan. With the lack of practice, he's doing pretty well battling for a top 10 position right now.
Yeah, it's impressive work for Jan Van Leer, challenging, up there racing with Gavin Rogers, trying to challenge and get this top 10 finish for himself. Coming in, like I said, last place in the chase for the championship right now in 16th. but I mean, he still has a chance to gain points. So just great work from him, you know, running as far up as he has been this race. So it's impressive to see, and just great to see for himself as well.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the statistics entering into the chase, Jan was one of those underdog drivers that really has been toughest at times. He only has 2 top 10s. The other driver was Chris Stitz, who's 2 positions back in the 17. He also only has 2 top 10s so far. But if you look at the drivers and where they run on screen, that 10 and the 13, they've had their squabbles quite a few times this season of running into one another. I was riding on board and listening in on a couple of Category 5 esports streams and listening to their conversations, and Cedric is always nervous when he's around the 10, because they don't intentionally mean to run into one another, but it's bound to happen at least a few times this season already. Now the 13's a little nervous, knowing that he's got to find a way to get by this Tide machine, and he's just trying to run his outside lane and feel comfortable where he's at.
Yeah, he's just trying to have a comfortable line. The good thing about running that outside line, we saw it earlier with Ali Fonseca. You might not have the greatest entry into the turn, but it's that exit, that massive drag race down the straightaways, these long straightaways. It gives you such a momentum boost on those outside lines. So he's doing a good job of just kind of staying calm, keeping his line tight and easy for himself. We haven't seen him really have any issues with controlling his car. I mean, we see the tip get a little loose out of the turns. We see a lot of these drivers deal with, but he's doing a very good job. It's a huge wall hit for Chris Stitz behind Cedric Hunter there.
Just trying to save the car, but the outside wall snuck up before he could catch it. Now the 17 is in an awkward spot. Do you let your teammate go of Larry Yingling? It looks like the 17 will do so. There's no required damage flag given to Stitz, but you can just visibly see looks extremely uncomfortable after that contact of the outside wall, as continuing to fight. It's going to be the 10 and the 13 for 11th place, but Cedric Hunter, he gets a little bit wiggly, and we're in that awkward spot. If you didn't protect your tires, this is going to be a rough second half of this stint, as most of the field is ringing about 30 laps on this set of tires.
Yeah, this is the part where the tires' life is slowly starting to wear away, and this is where good cars are going to get really loose. You're not going to have a lot of grip in those rear tires, so when you go to get back on the gas, you got to be a little easier on it. And we saw there Cedric Hunter probably got on a little too hard onto the gas, which made that rear end kind of step out from him. Was able to gather the car back up and keep it straight and out of the wall, but he's going to have to wait a little while for those tires to kind of cool off and get a little bit of life back into it.
Larry Yingling trying to find a way to get by Cedric Hunter, as former teammates of Category 5 Esports. Still, Yingling joined up with Ryan Kelly to make Yin Yang Racing, that has now turned into the Cody Glencock's music racing team, where you've got now Brian McCann joining them, as well as Chris Stitz. We move up to the battling action that's happening for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Problem, though, is for the 3 of Ryan Kelly. You know, talking about his teammate who got into the wall. Connection issues seem to be the issue for the 3, as he has been blinking periodically for the last about 5 laps or so. He did it earlier in the race, probably got completely cleared up, but blinking in and out, especially after what we just saw from Thomas Green to start this race off, isn't a comfortable feeling for the 3 machine.
You never like the situation of having blinks in the race. Like, it's kind of nerve-wracking for you. It's nerve-wracking for the drivers around you, especially when you're in a situation where you're running 4 points for a championship now, since we're in the chase. I mean, you got to figure out these network issues. I mean, sometimes you can't help it. Like, it's, you know, the internet, your internet service provider might be having some maintenance or just some affected reasonings, but you hate seeing it when a driver starts blinking in front of you.
Certainly do hate to see it, but you'll love to see this close racing action as John Force, Vincent Sora back and forth, trying to find ways to get by one another. The absolute rival duels that both the 15 and the 7 have had in multiple different leagues.
I want to start running that line Ryan is.
Everything to watch over the years. We've seen the 7 and the 15 battle for championships in the ISRC Truck Series, and also here in the WSSR Cup. Their duels. And it just continues to show, even when they change different vehicles, they're still on top of one another. This is currently the battle for 5th place, as 4th place and 3rd are directly ahead of them. I know in chat, Rev and Tyler chiming in. Thanks so much to everyone that is watching with us.
Oh, that's much better.
Here this evening. I'm curious on those that are able to chat if you're possible. Who are you rooting for? What has been your favorite moment tonight? Watching so many great duels from the battle for fourth, the battling further on back. We are closing in on our final pit stop of the evening, as the question will now be in for a lot of these drivers. They've entered now into the pit window where fuel-wise you're good to make ticket to the end. But Richard, when do you want to take the tires in? Because looking at drivers that went with the undercut, that pitted sooner than their competition, they've been greatly rewarded. While drivers that waited an extreme amount of time, they were not. They are still far on back. Talking about one of those is Jarrett Talmadge in 7th place. He is still yet to catch up to those that are battling for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. But he has done a pretty good job of closing the gap in. It's just he still is nowhere close, and we're about to hit this pit cycle start up again.
Yeah, this is such a tough situation for the drivers. They've got to decide. I want to run a little further on older tires and bleed time while these guys pit earlier than me and undercut me, or do I want to take that chance and have a faster car for longer, or for a shorter amount of time than they do when it comes closer to the end of the race? So it's all about your driving style, really, because some of these drivers, they can run longer. Like Gavin Rogers, he was able to run a little bit longer than everybody else, and he's sitting in 9th when he was back in 19th at one point in this race. So Gavin, he might be able to run a little longer than some of these drivers and get newer tires and be on fresh tires for a last, surge for himself. Drivers like Jake Nichols and Douglas Newbigging, though, they might want to pit a little earlier because they have the longer run pace that a lot of these drivers don't have. So it's always a balance of what you think everybody else will do and what you're comfortable with your car and how you've been driving all day. As Vincent Sora is the first driver to take it to pit road.
First one to pit, doesn't want to wait as he hits lap 99, not even at 100. I thought we were going to see a couple of drivers wait until maybe 100 or 105. That was going to be the lap I was circled up with the window. We were going to see a lot of these drivers pit. Some might go to lap 120 if they feel like they can utilize those final 30 laps of a run. This now puts the pressure on the competition. That 3rd, 4th, 5th place drivers, where Sora was at. Do you pit this go around? No, we don't. We go another lap around. So Vincent Sora will jump these drivers as Sora is exiting pit road. He's actually going to be right behind the group of drivers that he was just challenging. So we'll get a good view of when those drivers finally decide to hit pit road. Jake Nichols, Douglas Newbigging. That is not even a competition anymore. Douglas Newbigging, you've had a great first stint. Well, Jake Nichols said, I'm going to prove that I am the fastest driver here tonight. That's 73, being over 6 seconds ahead. That they started the first pit stop of the evening. It was only about a 6/10 difference between those two drivers.
Yeah, this is a very interesting change. Run of the field here between those two, because it just seems like Douglas Newbigging, his speed is kind of plateaued in this run. I don't know if he did something different, if he changed, or if Jake Nichols finally was like, let's kick the afterburners in and show what I've got here at New Hampshire. But it is a massive difference, almost 7 seconds. Jake Nichols for the lead. And Douglas, his speeds are a decent amount slower than they were at the end of that last run. So I'm interested to see what Douglas changed, or if he's changed anything.
Well, one of the factors that can change here on a dynamic weather system is the weather. That means the track surface can change, the weather can change, and there is the dramatic change. Air temperature stayed the same. The track temp, it rose. It is up 5 degrees from where it was at when this race started, and that's the big change. That honestly, 5 degrees is a massive change for some of these vehicles on iRace, and it can really mess with your handling completely. Some of those zones that you feel the most comfortable with, even 1 degree can really make a major difference for some drivers.
Yeah, when the track temperature rises even very little bit like this at 5 degrees, it doesn't seem like a lot like you were saying, but it's actually, huge when it comes to your tires, because the tires will heat up a lot quicker when it's a 5 degree difference on the track. So when they heat up a lot quicker, that means the wear tends to happen.
I assume you wait last second. I'll give you the second one.
That could be the major factor that has definitely changed how Douglas Newbigging has been able to handle this car.
As more drivers are hitting the pit road, still waiting for majority of the field to make that decision of when to go in, as our top 8 still yet to hit pit road for the final time here tonight.
Why did it do that?
Drivers also yet to pit. Chuck Sweeting, the 57, has been Keeney as well as Jan Van Leer have just made their pit entry, joining the ranks of Vincent Sora, Brian McCann, Ryan Kelly, Zach Hall, Chris Stitz, as they continue to wait. Who will take those final pit stops and when, as Douglas Newbigging is now into pit road. This is the call. It's the undercut for the 77, who's got to make a major leap on Jake Nichols, who does not even allow it. He enters pit road the next go around.
Jake Nichols not allowing that undercut to benefit Douglas Newbigging at all. Douglas Newbigging, he's got to be patient, though. He can't just go out there and rocket his times up. He's got to, you know, take care of those tires. You take care of the tires like you did in before the first pit stops happen, then you can have a better chance of getting close again to Jake Nichols. But it's just being patient and don't overpush your car. And I think that's what Douglas Newbigging really needs to focus on now in this run.
Yeah, we're seeing teammates racing around one another. Here's going to be the 6 laps, 5 lap down machine, the 31 of Thomas Green, as we've documented his internet issues that forced him to go 6 laps down, and now he's challenging Jared Talmadge. As Talmadge is hurt later, you would hope that your teammate wouldn't be challenging you this hard, but you know what? Talmadge was in difference of other drivers. It's kind of like, you know what, let's just have some fun. There's not a big loss, there's not a big gain. As long as we don't wreck each other, we're having fun here at New Hampshire, as the final pit stops are closing in. Ali Fonseca now into pit road, leaving us with 3 drivers yet to finish out their pit stops. Thomas Green needs to make his final stop, same for Jared Talmadge. These two go back and forth, as well as Larry England in second. Those are the final 3 drivers that need to pit before this race is over. And closing in on the final 40 laps of this race, Richard, it's been a great back and forth for a majority of the field in the middle of this pack, but there's the tire difference. Cedric Hunter just throwing it down the inside, able to take off and go. The grip levels showing that it's so much easier to get going, but Ben in the 98 just is struggling to really get by our current second place runner.
Ben Keeney, he is also sitting 3 laps down currently also for himself. So unfortunate to see for himself. He will get one back here, as Larry Yingling still needs to pit, and so does Jared Talmadge. But so he'll be 2 laps down. But yeah, I mean, it's been impressive racing throughout the entire field. I mean, there's small groups here that they can't separate from each other, and it's a lot of side-by-side racing. You see Ben Keeney there get a little loose coming out of turn 2, trying to get around the 67 machine here, if Larry Yingling. But yeah, the race has definitely been very exciting from front to back, seeing what these drivers are able to do and how they're getting the passes done.
As for Ben this season, it's that we love to watch how he develops throughout a season. His 2 best finishes have come when we changed vehicles over to this Legacy Gen 4 Cup car. He got 15th twice at Indianapolis and Talladega when he started off the year off pretty well. Here tonight, it's a tough track in New Hampshire. If you can't get the handling of this vehicle immediately, it is a rough night from start to finish. But Ben surviving, at least looks like, as long as he can make it to the end of this race, he could have one of his best finishes of the season. Again, 15th is his best finish, and he's just outside of that 15th position if other drivers start to struggle.
Yeah, Ben Keeney's still looking for a strong race tonight, even though he's going to be 2 laps down once the pit cycle is complete. As we see Jared Talmadge, he's calling it in. He's coming in to get some fresh rubber and some fuel to make it to the end of the race. So just waiting on Larry Yingling now, and Ben Keeney will be, nope, he's already passed Larry Yingling, so that'll put him 2 laps down officially. But, I mean, even 2 laps down, what happens with Chuck Sweeting? Because, I mean, a 15th finish would be great for Ben.
Jake Nichols is driving so fast that even with making his pit stop, he is on the back bumper of Larry Yingling. 73 is out of this world quick, as he is already cut the pit stop where it doesn't even matter. He's already made his final pit stop of the day. Douglas Newbigging is 6.5 seconds back from the battle for the lead, and Yingling, congratulations, you had the lead. You still need to make a final pit stop. You've been passed by the 73.
Yeah, this is something you don't see very often. I mean, Larry Yingling, it's not that he was extremely slow all race, it's just Jake Nichols is just that quick. Made the pit stop at the right time, but Larry Yingling, when he does come into pit, he should be a little bit quicker than some of these guys that have already been out on the track for a while. But, I mean, you see the closing speed that he has, even on Ben Keeney up there right in front of him with Jake Nichols here. He's going to put Ben Keeney down another lap, make him 3 laps down again. So, unfortunate for Ben, but, I mean, he's still out there. He's having a good time. But Jake Nichols is really just put the afterburners on and is just trying to keep that lead ahead as fast as he can.
Well, if you're just joining us, let's bring up our race report. You know, entering tonight, looking at the notes, there was a chance that this could have been one of our wreck-filled races, one of the biggest throwaway races of the season. But New Hampshire here for season 12, low car count drivers, and it's been one caution only, and it was that first lap when Brian Noel went sliding off the exit of turn 2. Since then, we've been clean and green, and it has been fantastic racing so far. The mid-pack of different battles for position. Up front's been all Jake Nichols, and, you know, was looking at this season. I was talking with one of the admins and owners of WSSR, of Zach Hall. The vehicle run this season from the new...
Hey, this is iRacing on PC.
Then transitioning to the Legacy Gen 4 car. And the last in wrecks, it has been, on record, this has been the least amount of incident points collected by a group ever in the WSSR Cup Series. The caution counts have been extremely low this season. This has been some of the cleanest racing we've seen in a while here. I know last couple of seasons it's been rough with drivers being on top of one another, vehicles being tough. But here tonight, even with a very loose and out of control handling vehicle, incredible fact that there's only one caution and how close everyone's been has been very much a big clap, a round of applause to the field for keeping it as clean as they have.
Yeah, they've been doing a fantastic job with this car change from the new 2003 Gen 4 that iRacing dropped. I have to say, you know, across the field, watching the racing from up here in the booth, it just looks like this was a huge win decision for the admins to move to this Legacy Gen 4. The racing has been a lot better.
What lane do you both want
passing
me in?
that we have been seeing.
Get to me.
So, I mean, it's just fantastic decision, just big, and it's a hard decision also in the middle of a season to switch to a different car.
You'd be here in like 2 or 3 laps.
It was basically the exact same car, just minor differences, mainly with visual.
Top lane's faster for us
on the iRacing side. So this
I'll
was
stay
a huge
second
decision
groove
by the admin, and they did the right
OSS
thing,
top
I think,
lane.
to switch to this Legacy Gen 4.
Yeah, I will agree with you that it was the right decision to make. But man, is it a tough one when you tell a league throughout the offseason, this is the vehicle that we're going to be running all
Dog's
season
gonna pass you
long,
here
and then
soon.
You realize, oh, we got to change it, and they do. And how successful.
Just keep doing what you're doing. I'll just get around you.
Jake Nichols took him a few races before he got back into the swing of things, like he was doing with the old vehicle that we were running to start the season off. But he is right back to his dominant ways. And for Larry Yingling, he continues to stay out, banking on a caution as the 67, as he'll now fall to 3rd place. Here's some of the battling happening for 8th position of Zach Hall, Ali Fonseca, as well as Chris Stitz in the mix as they continue to fight back and forth. Ali Fonseca going to have the advantage on tires as he uses his tires.
Then you take 2 tires.
Old, well, Zach Hall and Chris Stitz on the other set. 19-lap old tires for Hall, 18-lap old
Top 15 anyway.
tires for
Like
Stitz.
wrong.
And Fonseca makes the
They're going pretty quick.
here in the next 20 laps. Hall will have enough time.
So you're saying I should be winning the race?
All the way back in 12th. Here's Gavin Rogers as he's kind of slowly.
Surprised Doug's too is holding
on
on.
the gap on Jarrett Talmadge and a couple of other drivers, as well as Jan Van Leer in the 10, trying to find a way to close in on the gap in the 1.
He's losing his rears though.
You know, for Gavin again, he's
holy crap,
doing really better on the long run today here at New Hampshire. But I think
his lap's probably killed.
Down little by little. I think it's time for him to start picking up the pace. Of course, that's his decision as the driver if he's listening, but I feel like he's going to run out of time to get further than he potentially could. But, I mean, it's still great to see Gavin finally find some stride in this car and find some pace that he has just kind of been lacking since this week.
Yeah, but I know for Gavin, this is still kind of a heartbreaking season coming off the championship last season in being one of the very few drivers that made it into the chase with 0 top 10 so far. Those other drivers being Chuck Sweeting and Chris Stitz, as well as Jan Van Leer, the only drivers to not have a top 5 coming into the chase. And that is a tough pill to swallow for the one machine that, honestly, some of the track got caught up in some wrecks that really took away his opportunities of good runs. Speaking about good runs, up front, Douglas Newbigging, he continues to run well, but under pressure as Brian McCann, Ryan Kelly trying to find a way to get around the 77, but the fresher tires for Newbigging is keeping him ahead at this current time as the battle is there, lap traffic as well. Now it's starting to get a little bit mixy with 27 laps to go here tonight, about to be 26.
Yeah, Douglas Newbigging is doing a really good job. Those newer tires, and it's only a couple of laps, but they are really kind of helping him stay in front of the 8 machine. But I just don't know if he's got enough life in those tires left, because I feel like he's been trying to push his car as hard as he can. He wants his chance to get back up to Jake Nichols again and challenge for the win. He was leading. It's such a great thing to feel, especially when you pass a driver like Jake Nichols for the lead and lead for as long.
That was a little loose.
And then you just come out of the pits and you're so far behind. So he's doing everything he can as he loses the spot finally to the number 8 machine of Brian McCann.
And McCann going to be staying on the outside. This new game putting the pressure on, as well as the lap car. Ben Kinney watching the great racing action for Ryan Kelly, who's been one of the fastest drivers when it comes to the long run, especially that last stint. The 3 is a murk. Some top 3 finish here tonight. If he could find the opportunity to get by the lap car, then challenge the 2 ahead and maybe hope for a little bit of issues as the final driver to make a pit stop, Larry Yingling, could not make it any further. Finally going to enter pit road and fall outside of the top 15 once his pit stop is over. That is a rough one for the 3-time champ, who had to take a gamble to try to hope for the track position before this race was over. The gamble didn't work out, as we're seeing Ryan Kelly get a little bit nervous trying to get by the lap car of Ben Kinney in front of him.
Yeah, that was kind of a nerve-wracking moment right there. Ben Kinney was low and then get a quick dive to the out. A little nerve-wracking to see that from a lap car in front of you, but you still got to get around him to try to challenge, catch up to Douglas Newbigging challenge for the 3rd place. But Douglas still not letting Brian McCann get that far away from him. He's still trying to keep that gap as he can. This is, was better on the tire saving spot. So hopefully we can see that speed back into the 77 machine here in the next couple of laps.
Well, if we're going to see it might happen either with this group or the group that's about to be challenging for 7th place. Fonseca's got another pack behind him that he's got to find a way to defend. And those first 40 laps, well, that was a great showing of what maybe defensive plays he has in his playbook for these final 20 laps here tonight, because if Ollie wants to keep a top 10 finish, he's got to throw out everything to try.
I'm flirting with that wall going into 3. I got to quit doing that.
Chris Stitz, Zach Hull, Gavin Rogers that are trying to rally their way to close in on the 24. And here we go, Fonseca and Talmadge. How long will this fight go on for? And will it take us to the checkers? Or will it end quickly, as Talmadge does have a bigger advantage on tires? It's about a 6 to 5 lap difference on tires between Talmadge and Fonseca. Talmadge with the advantage, but Fonseca is back to the top where he was defending perfectly before.
Yeah, Fonseca was doing a fantastic job defending against Sora earlier in the race on this outside line. He's able to get the run down the straightaways out of the turn. He just doesn't have the entrance into the turn like we saw Jarrett Talmadge there, who's throwing it as they enter into the turn, throwing it straight to the bottom, which is allowing him to get the run through the... But then you see Ollie's kind of surge forward and get the momentum out of the exit. As you see right here, as they drag race again. I mean, the only thing Ollie can really defend in the long run is get down on the door of the 27 machine, but I just don't think Ollie's got the tire life to be able to challenge it like that.
No, and Ollie really was pushing the issue, going extremely wide, especially through 1 and 2, to try to get a much higher apex point, to straighten it out, have a longer straightaway on speed. It just did not work out on defending there, and that major tire difference is really what's hurting him at this time. The next closest battle is happening. Well, that's the battle for second, third, fourth. Caught up to this group, and as well Larry Yingling, who's a lap down, trying to get those laps back. He's going to march his way to try to get by the 8 machine Brian McCann, but also behind them, Ben Keeney having a lot of slide moments these last few laps for the 98 as Vincent Sora gets by, and that's another driver to emerge into this battle for second, third, and fourth. Make it now almost all of our top 5 going to be on top of one another. The only problem is your leader is 10 seconds ahead.
How did he get 10 seconds ahead of us?
Up to lap down 13th, 12th, and maybe even 11th before this race is over with 18 laps to go.
Nichols is just in a completely new time zone from everybody on the track. He has lost a little bit, looked like he lost a little bit of time at first to Brian McCann, but not quite. He's able to get that gap spread out a little bit more. But Douglas Newbig, a huge promising start to this race, and I just don't think he's been able to adapt with the change in the temperature of the track and the air. So, I mean, still is nothing to hang his hat or his head down on. He's had an incredible run tonight. The only mistake so far we've seen him have was on pit road, so a great run for the 77 machine nonetheless.
And the big positive you can take as a field is this is just the start of the chase. We have Auto Club next week, as well as the 09 Texas configuration going to be from 2 weeks from now. So they could opportunities to gain some of these positions.
Get in front of him, brake check him a little bit.
Interviewing Jake Nichols almost every week this season is the fact that the 73 feels like these upcoming racetracks are his best on the iRacing service. So if you're going to beat the best
second place ain't too bad, seeing how I was like in 5th earlier. So
about his best tracks here that are lined up. 16 laps to go.
The line here changed so much.
In the 73.
Usually that doesn't happen. Usually it's just a one-line track.
Will be okay. The one thing that can hurt,
and you can kind of see it in the rubber there. Off that turn 2, there's a low line and a high line.
Figuring around that 3rd, 4th, and 5th place position.
Sort of reminds me of dirt racing.
Camera's on right now.
Yeah, this is one of some of the closest racing we have, and it's not even that super close either. They're just all within, just a
and Ron's gonna catch me.
A second of each other, but not right on top of each other yet. So, I mean, if there is going to be incident, it'll probably be here when these guys.
That changes everything.
Passes to move up.
Oh boy.
Position. But I mean, it's going to be.
Oh no.
There it is.
There it is. Caution is out, and it's the 98, and this is the dramatic. They could have asked for. It looked almost solidified and done. Well, let's get these drivers in pit road. Throw some freshies on and get a little bit messy here as we take a look at what got them
I feel like the cars too and staying with it too. Unless you take no fuel.
Yeah, I ain't taking
some great track position already.
He had been having trouble for the last 10 laps.
Filling it up.
But then doing everything to try to keep this thing pointed straight in those final 12 laps.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
As the 90.
If you guys are still pretty loose on the short run, you could consider taking no fuel, because that will tighten up a little bit.
Then just loses the rear end right at that transitional phase.
That's tough.
A huge hit to the nose right on the inside wall, but yeah, that transition just put a little bit too much power down for how old the tires were for Ben Keeney. I mean, like you said, we saw him struggling quite a few laps back, especially in front of the drivers that were racing to the top 5s and stuff, but unfortunate to see for Ben Keeney, who was just trying to hold on for the rest of the race.
And now everyone gets to make the decision of pit stops. Everyone expected to take 4 tires and fuel, but who will risk it for maybe 2 tires? I'm not expecting many to take that decision and choice, but everyone driving down pit road, what do you take? 4 tires? 2 tires? Somebody is going to risk it. But who will be the willing gambler here as the drivers exit out of pit road? Ryan Kelly's got
some 2-tire takers.
And it's 2 tires for the 3 machine and many more. Nichols will not be in control of this race.
I'm not sure.
Green. Yeah, a lot of 2-tire stops. I knew there were going to be a few drivers to do that. It is under 10 laps to go in this race, and a lot of drivers say if you're within that 15 to 20 laps,
bad. That sucks.
To go in a race, 2 tires is really the go-to strategy for a lot of these tracks. So, I mean, you're putting.
I don't know. That
on
was
those right side tires.
Ollie took 2, by the way. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, this could very well be the race.
Hopefully, there's a big difference between 4 and 2. But I know on 4 it's gonna be slick for the first few laps. They may be able to pull out a little bit.
Time to share the stream because we're about to have a dramatic end to this.
The question is, if that happens, can I run them down in like 8 laps? But you know, there's gonna be a caution. So 2 tires might be a good call here.
Rip, and we know 3 wide.
Give it a little bit of kick.
Will be utilized here tonight. The question is, will they survive those major attacks?
Like that broadcast is saying, survival here is going to be important.
Richard, this is about to be a restart of the whole season, I think. How do you start the chase off? Do you get a win? Do you stop the 73's momentum? Or do you throw your race away and your whole chase away in one fell swoop?
You know, and for throwing,
I kind of want to survive here if I can.
He might have just done that. I believe he got inked for speeding because he is all the way back behind Jan van Leer in the 13th position.
It was caught for speeding, and we'll see what he can gain back, but a top 4, no longer an opportunity. It's now to see who will get it done. Front 4 going to be on 2 tires as we are back to green flag action here for race number 1 of the WSSR Cup Series Season 12. They're already 3 wide down into turn number 1, and it's Jake Nichols. Will he get the exit, though, as they roar out of turn number 2? Nichols is fighting for 4th, but it's Ryan Lee and everyone trying to defend the 73.
73 on cold tires. You saw him get a little loose. He was able to keep it very straight. It was a minor mistake, but that stopped his momentum forward. Couldn't get side by side. As you see Brian McCann, he gets a little loose, but he saves it from getting in the wall. But that is massive ground loss for the number 8.
Loose here on the never mind.
Lots, and it's going to be Jake Nichols forcing the issue on Jared Talmadge.
That really sucks.
Motorsports going to be tagged. Goldsmith gets loose, loses more time. Stitz gets by. Same going to be Gavin Rogers attempting to make a pass to the inside groove on the 73. It's wide open now. These are massive points to try to close in on our points leader. Kelly is good. He continues to lead another lap. But now with the looming question, can we even stay green? Because Vincent saw another dive bomb move for the 15. A lot of these drivers have got to be thinking, are the cracks showing on the 73 machine? A very rare mistake you see as he got loose and fell back some major ground there. He's got to look to see what he can do and try to get through these guys, but they are door to door as he sits in the middle of Stitz and Vincent Sora. He's going to be in the middle of 3 wide racing action. Put a big block on the 73 because he's going to go down to the apron. Nobody defends it. Down to the white line. Nichols is looking for the space. Now they're going to be stacked 3 wide for now. John Force trying to accelerate, but he gets loose in front of the 73. Vincent Sora losing time as he slides on the exit of turn 2. Big loss for the 15. He'll fall back to 19th position. Brian Kelly is just hoping that every car that's in between him and the 73 holds him back for another lap. 6 laps to go here from New Hampshire. Seeing a lot of mistakes from drivers you don't see mistakes from normally, but that's just this kind of track. It is a rhythm-based track, and now we're on a shootout sprint to the finish. You're seeing these mistakes go as fast as they can and not to save the tires. But I mean, you see Vincent Sora, he messed up. You got 73 of Jake Nichols, he messed up. But he is moving his way back forward. He's on the outside of Stitz, trying to push Ollie Fonseca, who's been one of the best defensive drivers when it comes to these fresh tires. He's still trying to defend Jared Talmadge. The brawl. This is round number 3 for the 2 of these drivers. And Fonseca is still keeping it close. But it's Jake Nichols that's trying to push the purple machine forward. You got to be careful if you're Ollie Fonseca. As well for Talmadge. One slip up can just throw this great run away. But Nichols is just pinched and blocked. He cannot go anywhere with Stitz underneath him. Yeah, Jake Nichols is definitely boxed in right now with Stitz on his inside and Ollie Fonseca just in front of him. You saw Stitz kind of throw it into the turn there, and they got side by side into each other's doors. But Jake Nichols has got to be frustrated. He knows he can get around these drivers. He just doesn't have the opportunity to do so. He doesn't have a lane clear enough for him to go, but he's going to try to force 3 wide. But Ollie, a great
part of the middle lane is going to stop that that haymaker from 73.
Now across the line, 3 laps to go for the 3 machine of Ryan Kelly. The problem, the driver directly behind you, the 26.
2 tires are definitely the call. Look at Ryan go.
The lead driver with 4 fresh tires underneath them. Ryan Kelly, he's only got 2 freshies underneath them, but they're 3 wide, battling for third. It's Nichols, Stitz, Fonseca, and Nichols throwing it down to the apron. Will he keep the momentum? Will the slide job move work? Stitz backs off, but he gets the run. He's to the outside quarter panel. Ollie Fonseca trying to roar his way forward, and they'll drag race still for 3rd place, but the battle for the lead, it's within a 10th now. Ryan Kelly is under pressure. Stitz, did he throw all his momentum away? As the 23 is trying to find an opening. He'll throttle his way forward, but a big slide from the 3. 2 tenths between our top 2 as we're looking for the white flag up the exit turn number 4. We look up to the flag stand. They're still hard racing back for 4th place, but it's Kelly. Talmadge only has 2 more attempts. White flag in hand. White flag for the field as they head into 1.
Diving down into turn 1, you saw the 73 finally get around Ollie Fonseca as Jan Van Leer is also trying to challenge the 73 machine. He's in 5th place. He's looking low, but right now Jared Talmadge is going to try to throw a haymaker onto number 3 into turn 3.
Down to the apron. Does Talmadge have the run? Was the dive bomb big enough?
Oh shit.
Slide his way into the 3. They're almost door big.
Get him, Ron.
Oh yeah, Ryan. Good shit.
Let's go. It's going to be Ryan.
Oh yeah.
6 1/1000ths of a second.
Went from getting the easy 2nd to 10th.
Gets his first top 5 of the season. What a charge here in New Hampshire at the end.
Massive fireworks for that finish there. As you saw, Jarrett Talmadge was bullying his way through that turn, was dooring the number 3 up to the outside wall, but Ryan Kelly with the outside line had
my push talk muted
out of the turn and was able to edge his nose just ahead of the 27 to score the first win of the chase.
Damn, they were racing.
I don't know if we can get a replay of that.
Just keep in mind that engine will be Stitz's next week, so feel free to burn it down.
7 1/1000ths of a second, and it was a drag race between the 27 and the 3, with the 17 looking in the mirror. But as they came to the line, it was all you could ask
Hell
for.
Yeah, they worked better.
They
that surprised me.
And it's the 3 with the
that was a good
nose
finish.
ahead when they made contact, and he keeps the nose ahead as they cross the line. That's what you're looking for when you enter at a short track and you've got a shoot out there at the end.
And also a phenomenal finish for the 17 machine of Chris Stitz, who had a front row seat to that finish between the 3 and the 27.
Ryan Kelly, exactly what he needed. He entered tonight.
I did not think those 2 tires would hold on.
Chris Stitz entered tonight.
Push Ron all the way up the track, but Ron did it perfect.
Jared Talmadge
at that exit speed.
Massive points that he was looking for. Only going to be a hand. Just
I was too busy killing each other for
to close the gap.
Second on back.
Oh yeah, when I saw all the other, I'm like, okay, Ryan's got a decent chance here.
Dominating this race, a late race caution. Just threw away
what's going to happen for the points
lead
here?
To give us this finish. I mean, this is all you could ask for. I mean, at one moment here, I thought Jan Van Leer was going to just throw it in and almost take out Nichols, but he backs up, looks for a clean
entry.
I
had
instead, it was the battle for the lead. They had the dive bomb move, and Jared Talmadge did everything in his power to get by the 3, but it wasn't enough. Ryan Kelly gets his 2nd win of the season, and what a time to grab it on the first
I don't know what the bonus
race of the
points are, but I got pole.
Set the tempo.
That is a phenomenal picture right there, as you see how close it is between those 2 drivers. And that is a fantastic way to start off your chase for the championship for the number 3 machine. He has got to be excited about that finish.
If you've ever been curious on what a bumper can do for you, that is what it is. That is 7 1/1000ths of a second, the difference between Talmadge
next week is Auto Club.
And Ryan Kelly.
There's going to be some racing there.
We'll be talking about those drivers as well as Chris Stitz, because we've got the post-race show.
I'm going to go ahead and sign off.
Amped up for